Was it like these guys are in a fire in some building and they're grabbing for all the loot they can and running out the door with it? Is that what's going on here? That's what it looks like.
Over $170 billion of our money, and did not, in fact, do what anyone else giving money does, which is ensure that that money is not going to be a conduit for simply paying out bonuses. Every takeover, every debtor in possession financing, every bankruptcy, these are questions that are asked. So we certainly pay a lot of people who should ask those questions and answer.
My name is Ted Vaill. I'm a retired lawyer living mostly off my 401k assets. And regarding this AIG mess, it's really the last straw. I know AIG very well as a lawyer. I worked on behalf of a client with AIG and knew many of their senior executives in New York. AIG's financial products division, headquartered in London, is really the cause of this mess. It's been a huge moneymaker for AIG over the last decade. And its financial model said there never would be a loss. They provided credit insurance for derivatives and credit swaps, and it was a tremendous moneymaker. But then in 2008, with the financial meltdown in the last half of the Bush administration, there was a realization that their model didn't take account of the fact that when in a financial meltdown, their company was at risk. And at risk to the tune of perhaps $500 billion ultimately. And in face of this, at the end of the Bush administration, the government panicked and provided what is now up to $173 billion to bail out this company. And now we learn that of this bailout money, $28 million at least has gone to bail out AIG's insurance for its financial products division, and that has gone to foreign banks such as Societe Generale, UBS, Deutsche Bank, etc. And also a good portion of the money has gone to U.S. financial institutions like Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Wachovia, J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley. And many of these companies also received regular bailout money. And now we learn they're getting insurance money from AIG. They've been playing us for suckers. And AIG's financial product executives, we learn, are getting bonuses for their work in 2008. $165 million worth. Now, and bonus that the government says AIG says is contractually obligated to be paid. And there's nothing that the U.S. government can do. Well, as a lawyer, I say bullcrap. There's a lot that can be done. You get a bonus if you do good work for your company during the year and your company does well. You don't get a bonus because you are indispensable to a mess you created and you're the only one who can get you out of the mess. Here's my solution. The U.S. government takes over AIG. It owns 80% of it already. If they have to buy the other 20% to take it over, do it. And then take it over and immediately spin off the financial products division. Spin it off into a separate company, and then and the remainder of the company, many of whose divisions are doing very well, could be sold off or operated. But the financial products division should then be put into bankruptcy, all payments stopped, all contracts suspended, and it should be liquidated. If an executive getting a bonus says I'm entitled to it, well, let them file a claim in bankruptcy and let the bankruptcy court deal with it. There's also a provision in the bankruptcy laws for voidable preferences, so you can claw back money paid in the last 6 months to these executives. And there's the answer.
Ted, can I interrupt you for a second? Is there precedence for what you're talking about? Is there
clearly voidable preferences?
Precedence?
I've done bankruptcy work, and you know it's standard in bankruptcy law that payments made in approaching bankruptcy can be voided and returned. You can get a legal court order allowing return. You also had the precedent of the savings and loan debacle in the late 80s when we took over a lot of savings and loans and did exactly this. Is AIG too important to let go down the tubes? Perhaps parts of it are. It's a large company. Is its financial products division too important to put into bankruptcy and liquidate? I don't think so. We're talking about a restructuring of the division before liquidation. People who have claims can file claims and process it through the courts. They can't file a lawsuit. Once they go into bankruptcy, those lawsuits will be transferred to the bankruptcy court.
And Ted, what you're really talking about is taking over this company in order to get back what we've invested in it. I mean, the bailout money, it's coming from the American taxpayers, correct?
We own 80% of the company, and we could own 100% of the company. We can do with this company what we want to do. We want to do it in a way that doesn't further dislocate the markets around the world, but we cannot have executives getting huge bonuses when they sent their company down the river.
Do you believe that in any way what we're talking about is communist, the idea of taking over a company which we have publicly funded? Do you believe that there's anything to do with communism in that idea?
Well, we have a precedent of the savings and loan scandal when we took over a number of companies in the 1980s. We've already taken over 20 or so banks already in the last year, and the Republican Bush administration started us down this path by coming up with huge amounts of bailout money, government money, taxpayer money, to be used to bail out these entities. I don't know what you call it, but it's strong government intervention needed in a time of crisis. If that's socialism or communism, so be it. But we have the fire department, we have the police department, we have the post office, we have a lot of entities, we have the rail system. A lot of entities are operated by one company, and they seem to be doing fairly well, or they're not putting us down the road to disaster. In truth, we're probably half a socialist country already. We are, because of the way it's required to operate with public utilities and things like that. Capitalism is really half socialist, and maybe gradually return the assets we've taken over to the capitalist system, which has failed the United States and failed the world over the last 8 years of the Bush administration and before, as we gradually left these entities totally unregulated. And what happens when you let Wall Street be unregulated? They get greedy.
That is a great place to stop. Thank you so much, Ted.